Hello friends, welcome to World Cinema Forum. Today we are going to analyze 2007 Hollywood movie No Country for Old Men, starring Josh Brolin, Javier Bardem, Tommy Lee Jones. Well, this film was directed by Coen brothers and received critical acclaim including 4 Academy Awards including Best Picture and Best Supporting Actor for Bardem. No Country for Old Men takes place in Texas, USA in the year 1980 after the conclusion of the Vietnam War, one of the bloodiest conflicts in American history, and which is referred at points throughout the film. Each of the 3 main characters have personal experiences committing violence, although they do so for different reasons. Anton Churchill, the name of the film's antagonist, is a man born without a conscience and is a hired killer. However, he doesn't simply kill just because he is getting paid with money to do so, but rather because it comes naturally to him and see himself as an instrument of fate. It does matter whether or not you are innocent, but if you happen to cross paths with him on the road, at a hotel, in a convenience store, he will judge your fate based on the basis of a coin toss. Churchill's chilling approach to life and how it is totally beyond any of your collective will and actions is an eerie recurrence throughout the film that the Coen brothers used to make him one of the greatest film villains of all time. Well, the most reliable main character in No Country for Old Men is Llewellyn Moss, played by Josh Brolin. He's a married man, Vietnam War veteran, and a welder who enjoys hunting as a Texan. He is not a perfect person, but he tries to do the right thing most of the time, and is unfortunately a victim of fate as well as during the film. On a hunting trip to the West Texas desert, he ends up seeing the aftermath of a drug deal gone bad with men and dogs, both badly wounded and dead at the same time. His overall fate is set in motion when he takes $2 million that does not belong to him. As an audience, you know that's not the right action for him to take, because it ends up causing him to be tracked by Churchill, as he is the contract killer hired to kill Moss and bring back the money. It's not only that Churchill who is after Moss for the money. This main character is up against fate, which has conspired against him due to the stolen money that didn't belong to him. Moss at his heart is a survivalist and wants to live on. No Country for Old Men is based on a novel by Cormac McCarthy by the same name. Well, Cormac McCarthy, a distinguished American author of such noteworthy novels as The Road and The Blood Meridian, is not as well known to No Country for Old Men. But it is an excellent and renowned novel in its own right. Out of the movies that have been based on McCarthy's work, No Country for Old Men, released in 2007, is considered to be the best book-to-film adaptation done so far. Like other novels, No Country for Old Men focuses on the darker parts of human nature, including violence, corruption, and the evil that people can do to one another without just cause. While not the most upbeat and positive films, it is a film that probes questions regarding fate versus coincidence, if destiny is preordained, or how much the world is beyond our control despite our wishes and desires for it to be different than it actually is. Because of the predicament, Sheriff Ed Tom Well, who is closer to his retirement, admits that he is good at his job, but is not sure that he can keep up with the violence and evil that he sees around him, and which seems to be getting worse and not better. Throughout the film, Ed Tom is one step behind Churchill and is unable to help Moss as directly as he can as sheriff because he is overmatched and isn't able to keep up with the part of the country that isn't always meant for old men to live happily ever after. What you got ain't nothing new. This country is hard on people. You can't stop what's coming. It ain't all waiting on you. That's vanity. Sheriff Bell, throughout the film, becomes disenchanted with the way the world is and how senseless violence is unavoidable and can't always be stopped. His ability to influence or change events is weakening, and as an older sheriff, he is slowing down and wondering what his ultimate fate will be, whether it's dying for old age or getting killed by a psychopath like Churchill. Ed Tom Well as a character in this film is aware that as human beings, we can only have control over the world around us, and that we are limited to the choices we make regarding good and evil. But our choices can also be sometimes constrained by our own life and our circumstances. When it comes to violence in the world, it is something that can never be truly vanquished as long as there is evil in the hearts of men. The most prominent theme of No Country for Old Men relates to fate and self-determination. Each of the main characters chooses to see those two concepts differently. Anton Churgic, on one hand, uses the cover of a fateful coin toss to leave it up to the fates of his potential victims regardless if he was hired to kill them or not. He brutally rationalizes his violence through the use of fate, as if they had it coming all of their life. On the other hand, Evelyn Moss, a simple hunter and a welder, makes flawed choices as any normal person would, but struggles to outrun his fate based on some bad decisions he made regarding money that was stolen and would be considered blood money. Moss is a survivalist at heart, but knows that he can only do so much physically and mentally to outrun his fate based on the choices he actually made that led him there. Ed Tom Bell is the most morally sound character of the film, but comes to the realization that he can only deal with the world as it is rather than the world he would like to be. The choices he makes are his own, but the world and its depravity and violence are out of his control, and he can only react to those events rather than prevent them from ever occurring. In various of their films, the Coen brothers often present a bleak and nihilistic view about the world. No Country for Old Men is their most serious and brutal look at the nature of violence, how deeply it seems to be embedded in the American landscape, and how everyone, regardless if they are good or evil, is subject to a fate that is out of their earthly control. Overall, No Country for Old Men is a great film. It probes a number of moral questions relating to mankind's capacity for both good and evil. The cinematography is stunningly impressive. This film is not meant for weak-hearted because the violence is both brutal and frighteningly realistic. The Coen brothers make movies mainly for mature audience, and this film is no exception. The music in this film carries little weight, and there is not much of a soundtrack, and that has been done on purpose, collectively to build up tension and have the audience invest in every scene to see what happens next. It's hard to classify this movie to a specific genre, but it definitely could be best summarized as a dramatic thriller. The direction is excellent, and No Country for Old Men is truly loyal to its unique setting of West Texas and the US-Mexico borderlands. If you would like to see a movie that deals in the shades of grey rather than black and white, you will enjoy No Country for Old Men. However, be warned that it does not have a cliché-happy Hollywood ending, which is refreshing because men and women always do not get a chance to live happily to ripe and to old age. That's a wrap on this video, guys. If you are liking the content that we are bringing to you, I humbly request you to please subscribe our channel and spread the word and let the family grow.